This meeting is being recorded.
Siang Pak Deding, bisa dengar suara saya Pak?
Bisa, Pak.
Oke Pak, baik. Moderator untuk hari ini siapa Pak? Pak Elon ya Pak?
Bu Elon, Ibu Elon.
Belum hadir ya Pak?
Belum hadir.
Baik, terima kasih Pak.
Baik, sama Pak. Oh, Pak Andi. Baik, Pak Andi. Selamat siang, Pak Andi.
Saya angkat. Selamat siang Bu Elon. Terdengar suara saya Bu?
Selamat siang Bapak Ibu. Udah bisa kedengaran? Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. We are going to start about 10 minutes later. So I hope everyone can be join us here. We are going to wait for the other participants also. Hello, Bu Agustin. How are you?
Please unmute it.
As I have a problem with tool. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
How many participants we expected to join?
So, 14 participants.
Yes, how many
14
participants expected to join?
participants.
I think that 5 minutes to go, we should start. Yeah.
Hope so more than 100.
More than
Okay.
100.
Okay. 5 more minutes. Well, can we start now?
Okay. I think it's only 18 participants at the moment. I
Yeah.
think 5 minutes. Okay.
More 5 minutes.
Indonesian time.
Siang Bu, selamat siang Bu Elon.
Ya, selamat siang.
Saya Sarip Bu dari Siamolek. Kita
Ya, gimana?
tunggu peserta 5 menit lagi mungkin ya.
Oke.
Oke, Ibu. Terima kasih banyak Bu.
Ya, sama-sama. We are going to wait for the participant 5 more minutes. So I hope there will be more participants will join us today.
How many schools are invited to join this webinar?
Uh, I don't think so. How many is it? But it's from all over Indonesia, which joined the CATC program.
I see. Okay.
Can we start now?
Yes.
Pak Dading, maybe? Can we
Yes,
start?
yes, please, Mrs. Salon.
Okay.
Let's start.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar series. Today, myself, my name is Ellen Widianti. I am an English teacher in Vocational High School to Mataram, and I will be the moderator of the seminar. Our today's material is about provide arrival and departure assistance, which will be delivered by our speakers, Mr. Dading Qalbuadi, and our guest speaker is Mrs. Agustin Sasongkowati. But for today's webinar, we are going to hear about the provide arrival assistance, and for the provide departure assistance will be delivered in the next meeting and the other web service meeting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we are going ahead to hear the Qalbuadi, I would like to tell you a short profile about our teacher. This teacher, he graduated Trisakti Tourism Institute in Jakarta 2008, and then he started teaching in Vocational High School to Mataram since 2009 until now, and then now he became the vice principal of curriculum in tourism in Vocational High School to Mataram. Well, before we start, I would like to tell you about the rules from this webinar. each speaker will have 45 minutes to deliver their materials, and then for the participants who want to ask the question, you ask the question by the message. So you can type the message, and then you can raise your hand. So click the raise hand in your screen. So, Mr. Daddy, are you ready to deliver our material? It's about,
Yes, of
all
course.
right, it's about provide arrival assistance. So, Mr. Daddy, time is yours.
Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Good
warahmatullahi.
afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, teachers that joined this short course. Thank you very much for Simolek that give us chance to share about one of the lesson that what we are going to talk today. And also thank you to Mrs. Ellen that want to be our MC for this great short course. Well, students, like what Mrs. Ellen says that today we are going to learn about provide arrival and departure assistance. Before I continue my speech, can you see the script?
Yeah.
All of you, can you see the script?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So today we're going to learn about provide arrival and departure assistance. This unit is one of the unit in tour operator labor. And today, this unit is comprised of two elements, students. The first is provide assistance for arrival passengers. And the second is provide assistance for departure customers. So there are two elements in this unit. And what we are going to learn for today, we're going to learn the first element, that is provide assistance for arrival passengers. So our objective today is to deliver assistance to arriving passengers. It means that these arriving passengers generally from transport terminal to other location, including accommodation venues. And we have some performance criteria for this element. That is use terminal facilities to assist in meeting arriving passengers, record passenger arrival and other comments, facilitate movement of baggage from terminal to meet passengers' need, follow lost baggage procedures where required, and liaise with staff from other business to facilitate passenger arrival at and use of their product and services. And the first is now, before I continue my explanation, I would like to ask you, students, what do you know about transfer in? Please, is there any student want to ask to answer my question? What do you know about transfer in? It means that today we're going to discuss, we're going to learn about transfer in. So what is transfer in?
Hello, students.
Yeah,
Answer
please,
it.
students.
Actually, I can I answer it because I was your student.
Yeah. Before you answer it, please let our student to answer it, Mrs. Ellen. But later, no problem if you want to try to answer it. Yeah, please.
Students. Hello, students. There is Dinda, Dian Sukma, Eddie. There are so many students here. I think they shy to answer.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, please try to answer it, Mrs. Ellen. What is transfer in?
Picking up the customer from the airport or the harbor or the terminal to take it to the hotel.
Ah, great. That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Ellen. Today, students, we learn about transfer in. Transfer in is like what Mrs. Ellen says, and what we are going to learn that this, in simple way, transfer in is the guide assists the passengers or the guests or the tourists from airport or harbor or bus station or railway station to their accommodation choices. It can be hotel, it can be motel, can be bungalows or others. And when we are a guide and we would or we would like to be a tour guide, and the travel agent or the tour operator command us as a tour guide to assist the passenger from the terminal to the accommodation choices. So we have do some things. The first what we should do is check itinerary of arriving passengers to identify an action alteration as required. So this check itinerary of arriving passengers may be related to first identifying names and carriers of incoming passengers. So we should know what our passengers or our guests or our tourists use for their carriers come to our area or come to our country. We should know that. We should know what is the carrier. Are they use plane? Are they use a bus? Are they use rail? Are they use ship? So we should know. So after we know it, we know where we should go to pick up our guests. Second, comparing non-itinerary against non-change to schedule transportation, such as delays, cancellation, and rerouting. The students, as a tour guide, when we would like to pick our guests up, we should know is there any delays or any cancellation or any rerouting of our guest transportation when they come to our area. And the third is determining whether or not changes need to be made to schedule transportation. And then we should contact carriers to make appropriate change on behalf of the passengers. So to make sure the itinerary, we should contact the carriers that our guests use. So we know is there any delays or any cancellation or other. And then after that, we're noting possible option for change to schedule transportation, present to passenger. If there any change of the scheduled transportation of our guests, we should note it. Next, we should know, after we know the carriers, what our guests, what our passenger, what our tourists is used to come to our area, come to our country, we should know the detail of their coming. So what do we need to know as a tour guide? Here we are. First, we have to know our visitors' name list. How much our passengers? What are their name by name. So because we have to get name by name. And then we should know the arrival time. Is there any delays or any cancellation? After that, we should know the terminal and the gate number. Now we talk about, we assume that our guests or our passengers come by the airline. So they will come to the airport. So at this point, we should know where the terminal and the gate number that they are arriving. And then, are they have a baggage claim belt numbers? And also we should know the type of tour of our passengers come. There are two types of tour. Generally, there are two types of tour. The first is escorted tour, And the second is independent vacation. What is the difference between this and escorted tour and independent vacation? Okay, any student want to answer my question before I continue my explanation? Yeah, students, please. What is the difference between escorted tour and independent vacation?
Students, where are you?
Yeah, I think we have Sai student today.
A very shy students. Students, what is the difference between escorted tour and independent vacation?
Okay, I think they are Sai and they need to know much. Yeah, Mrs. Ellen, so they are Sai to give.
Yeah.
Students, the difference between escorted tour and independent vacation is escorted tour is this is the most generally tour that our guests or the tourists purpose come to the other place from their area. Escorted tour is a tour that all handled by the tour operator or all handled by the travel agent. All this is included in this tour, in this escorted tour, from transportation, accommodation, meal, sightseeing, the tourist attraction that the guests will be visited and others, from the beginning until the end of the tour. That's what we call escorted tour. And the second one, the type of tour is independent vacation. This is the tour. This is the type of tour that the guest or the tourist is come to the other area, come to the foreign country to spend their time to relaxing with no one command them that at this time we should go there, at this time we should go there. No. So they arrange their package by themselves. So they ask a tour guide or they book in a travel agent to pick them up just from the terminal. It can be airport, harbor, or others, to the accommodation choices. And after that, they will do what they want to do. This is what we call it independent vacation. I hope that all our students here understand with what the difference between escorted tour and independent vacation. And then, as a tour guide, before that, why we should know our guests that come, that we pick them up is they are join the escorted tour or they are independent vacation, because we have to explain to our guests about their detailed itinerary later if they join the escorted tour. And we should master the material about what our guest is going to go. And then the next is length of tour. The length of we should know also the length of tour, so we can prepare our information to our guests. They will stay in our area 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or others. And then time schedule. We also should know the time schedule. The time schedule of picking up point, of picking up time, the time schedule to go to some place, and what time they should come to the accommodation. Is there anything else that I haven't mentioned in this slide, students? I think that we have a student today, Mrs. Ella.
A silent student.
They are so silent. And after we know the itinerary of the arriving passengers, so the second one is we confirm the transport arrangement where applicable. So we should confirm the transport that our guests will use. have the contact of the carrier, and then we should verifying that the scheduled transportation is by date, time, and departure destination. Then also, when aiming to build rapport and friendship with the transport representative, especially the drivers, we as a tour guide required to contact and brief them on the arrangement for the arrival of visitors. Yeah, so we need to brief our driver. Information required is our name. We should our driver should know what is the guide name to make the good friendship between the guide and between the driver. And then we also give our driver the information about our visitors provide. We should also give our driver information about their arrival, what time they will arrive, where they will arrive, if they arrive in the airport, in what gate they will arrive, and then the tour route and the destination. The driver should know about this. And also, students, how are we going to ensure that all visitors' luggage is collected and safely placed in the transport vehicle? This also we have to discuss with the driver, where our visitors, our passengers' luggage will be collected in the transport. And then confirming with the driver if there are any known delays or the tour to tour routes. Should confirm to the driver if our passengers plane is come late or delays. So we have to confirm. We have to inform to our drivers about that. And then the driver should have a printed detailed attendant list. Yeah, they have also have our passenger name list. So at every stop, whether it is for a toilet break, custom checkpoint, emergency, or any other reason, all passenger attendants, all tourist attendants is checked and reported back to the travel agency for visitor safety. Because the driver may not start their driving before all of the passengers have their seat good or well in on board. Yeah. And the third one, so first one is we check the itinerary of coming passengers, and the second one we make arrangement with the transportation. So the third one is when our passenger is come, what we should do first, we should welcome passengers. First, we should greet them and then welcoming them. And how to welcome the passengers is by encouraging feeling and goodwill. We show them our very best attitude, always smile, and then building rapport with the passengers. Also employing appropriate interpersonal skill. We should use our very best communication skill. We should use our very best gesture skill. And then don't forget this one, that GST. When we greet our passengers, we should use this. Yeah, students, G, S, and T. T is greet. We must always greet our visitors when we first notice them. Welcome them warmly and openly, and say, for example, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Tan. Welcome to Lombok Island, for example. State your location. Welcome to Lombok Island. Welcome to Pattaya and others. I am Dading, and then mention your name of agent. I'm Dading from Lyric Lombok Tours and Travel, and I will be your guide for today. Like that. It's not enough you are speaking well, but also you have to give your best gesture. Yeah. So please, while you are speaking, show your smile.
Hello, Dian. Can you please mute your audio, please?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Continue.
you.
And then after greet, we should smile. Yeah. Touch our visitor heart with our smile. A smile works wonder and will even affect their moods. And please try to be genuine with our smile. And how to do it? We can practice our smile in front of the mirror. So try, please come to in front of the mirror and try to smile. You can try it until you can see that your smile is genuine. And be professional in your smile. Why we say be professional? Because there are some smile that if you more long smile, it the other person can be received that it's not a good smile. And thank your visitor for choosing your city or country as the tour destination and selecting your agency as the preferred partner.
Hello, Alicia. Can you please mute your... Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank our visitor for choosing our city or our country as the tour destination and selecting our agency as the preferred partner. Check with our organizational procedure. Yeah, if handshaking is allowed, as handshaking may be offensive to certain nationalities, race, or religions. But in nowadays, because we are in pandemic, yeah, it's forbidden to handshaking. So just give your best gesture to your passengers, your guests. I'm sorry. We back first to the smile. Even now, when we are in pandemic era, we hope that this pandemic can go far as so nowadays when we meet with the other people, we should use masker, isn't it?
Yes, a mask.
Yes. So although you are using masker, you have to smile. Why? Because with smile, we can make our voice more smooth. So no problem, your passenger, your guest, our tourists, they can see our smile or not, just smile while you are speaking because it can make your voice smoothly. Yeah, next, we provide local information to passengers. As students, today we talk about transfer in. Like what we have learned that transfer in is we pick up our passengers, our tourists from the airport to the accommodation choices, for example, to hotel. So there are distance, there are gaps between airport to the hotel. So on the way, we have to prepare the information that we should give to our passengers from the airport to the hotel. Okay? So what are the information that we should give for our tourists? So there are some information in the transport in the airport, for example. Upon they are arrive in the airport, we can inform them about the terminal transfer. If we are in international airport, that we should go, that the bus parking is far away from where the passengers is arrived. So we have to inform the terminal transport. Second, location of washroom or restroom. We should rely that our passengers use the airline from their country come to our country. For example, if they flight from London to Lombok or to Jakarta, it can be need more than 9 hours. So it's a very long journey. And we can assume that some of the passengers is worried if they would like to go to the washroom in the airline. So they are waiting. When they arrive in the airport, after that they will go to the washroom or to the restroom. So at this moment, we have to inform where the washroom, where the restroom is. Then meeting point to prepare boarding coach or car. We inform to our passengers where is the bus or the transportation parking. And then check our guest personal belonging and luggage. Ensure that all items are untouchable. And this is very important things. We are not allowed to ask our guests, our passengers to the bus before we make sure that all of their luggage have been complete. Have to make sure about this. And then there is some there is some tips to make our luggage different with the other group luggage. Like these students, in the peak season, when the tourists come to some area that a lot of people will come to the hotel to check in their rooms because they will spend their days to relaxing their time in that area. So at that moment, we should make a different sign of our luggage, of our passenger luggage. So we can use ribbon, for example. You can use the red ribbon. You can cut for 20 centimeter, for example, and you can give to every passengers one ribbon for their one luggage. Okay, so our passenger can tie this ribbon to their luggage. At this moment, we can differ our group luggage with the other group luggage when we come to the hotel. Yeah, right. Also, the information that we have to prepare and we give to our passengers. First is local map or tourism brochures. After we ask our passengers, our tourists to the transportation, local transport that will transport them from the airport to the hotel, we give them tourism brochures. The information about our area, the information about some tourist destination in that area. And then time and date, climate and weather forecast. Inform also about local time. We know that Indonesia consists of 3 different local time zones. Western Indonesian time zone, Central Indonesian time zone, and Eastern Indonesian time zone. So we have to inform about this. Why? Because at the end of the time information, we have to ask our passengers to set their time as the local time. If they use smartphone, it can be automatically set with the new area. But if they use a clock on their hand, so it can't be automatically changed. So you have to inform. Why? Because when we become their tour guide and we ask them or we guide them to several tourist destinations, several tourist places. We must have time. For example, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Narmada Waterfall. So we have 1 hour to explore this part. We save time at that moment, that the guests have 1 hour. When the guide say that, they will say, now is, for example, 10 o'clock. So ladies and gentlemen, please be on board at 11 o'clock. At this moment, so the passengers should has their time set like the local time. And the climate or the weather forecast. So when we are in rainy season, we have to inform that now Lombok or Indonesia is in rainy season. So when they would like to go out from the hotel, they can borrow the hotel umbrella. Yeah. And then next, we inform to our tourists the local geography, the geography of Indonesia. We inform them about Indonesia. We inform them we inform them of our government. What is our government type? It is the presidential country, the republic country. So the top leader of the country is president, and others. We explain to our guide about our economy. What is the Indonesian people doing? Esmos and others. And then also we prepare the information about history. The history of Indonesia, the history of the local area, for example, the history of Lombok, what is Lombok and others, and then the culture, heritage. And also we prepare the information about the food, especially local food. Because our passenger, our tourists, when they come to our country, when they come to our area, they would like to try some special thing in that area. We can inform them about the traditional food. And then the shopping, what can they buy and others. The currency exchange rates. It's important to inform to our guests about the currency exchange rate. And when we inform our guests about this, about the currency exchange rate, it will be better when we show them the example. For example, students, when you give our passengers about the currency exchange rate, that we have many pieces of money, 100,000, 50,000, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000. We can show them which one is 100,000, which one is 50,000, and what we can buy for this 100,000, 50,000. Okay. And then after that, we inform to our guests, inform to our passengers where they can exchange their local currency, Indonesian currency, if our passenger haven't exchanged their rate yet. And then transportation and fares. Also, we have to inform to our guests the transportation and fares, because we have a free time at the evening, for example, when the full day tour is end, and we assist our passenger to the hotel. They have free time at that time. So when they would like to go out from the hotel and they need to use transportation, so we tell them what transportation is available in this area. And what about the fares? And then transfer in is we pick our guests from airport to the hotel. So they have to know about the hotel, where they will spend their night there. We inform them about the name, about the location, about the facilities, what is the paid facilities and what are the free facilities. And also important thing is the tipping custom. Inform to our guests that Indonesia is something ordinary of tipping. Because if we, some countries is not allow the tip. If you're not informed to the guests, they can assume that Indonesia is not allowed the tipping. In our country is something ordinary to give tips to someone that help us. Next, advise passengers regarding check-in procedures at accommodation venues where appropriate. The accommodation may include hotels, motels, guest house, resort, bed, breakfast, caravan park, camping ground, and others. So at this moment, they are different types when they will check in at this accommodation. So what about if our passengers should transfer because their airport or to their hotel is very long? Or, for example, like in Lombok, Lombok Island is surrounded by small islands. That's what we call gillies. So when we assist, when we guide our passengers from the airport to their hotel, and the hotel is on the gillies, one of the gillies, for example, on Gili Terawangan, this is one of the small islands in the north part of Lombok Island. We have to use the other kind of transportation that we use boat to go there. So at this moment, so we have to inform to our passengers. And then the terminal facilities. When we are staying in the airport, we inform the terminal facilities. What we have said that restroom and others, and also public address system, airside access, designated group meeting areas, internal communication system between terminal and parking facilities. Record passenger arrival and other command. This may include using internally generated documentation, such as an arrival list to verify actual arrival of passengers. Of the recording passengers who do not arrive at no-show. For example, at the passenger list, we have 20 passengers. But when they come, they are just 18. So we have to ask to the tour leader, we have a new terminology, tour leader. What is tour leader? Yeah, please students.
Hello, students.
What is tour leader?
What is tour leader?
We as a tour guide. And I just mentioned tour leader. So what the difference of tour guide and tour leader?
Can we answer, Mr.?
Yeah, please.
Please, Afla.
Please, Afla. Yeah, please, Afla. What is tour leader?
Tour leader is who have a responsibility to lead the tour, Mr.
Thank you very much. So what is the difference between tour guide and tour leader, Afla? Tour guide also lead the passengers.
Tour leader have a responsibility to all factor for the tour, but tour guide is have responsibilities to guiding the client for that destination. Am I right, sir?
Thank you very much, Alpha. Okay. Give applause to Apla and all of us. Yeah, thank you
Other
very much.
students, Farah, you want to
Yeah.
answer?
Hey, please, Farah.
The other students, please.
Is anyone going to answer? What is the difference
Anyone?
between tour guide and tour leader?
No. No more
No, no
students
one.
will answer it?
Right. Tour guide, like what we say, is a person in charge to give the information to the passenger, to the guest, to the tourist about the area that they are visiting. And tour leader is a leader of the tourist group. The tour leaders come from the tour operator or the travel agent where the passengers come. For example, like this. As a tour guide, we are commanded by our tour operator to pick the tourists from London, for example. So they are 20%. So this 20% will be led by a person from the tour operator in their country. And this leader, that's what we call it, tour leader, will accompany the passengers, the tourists, from they leaving the country until they arrive to their own country. It is tour leader. Yeah. And then noting time of arrival were required, recording passengers who do not arrive as no-show, like what we said before, including detail of reason for no-show, where now. So when we have 20% and that just come 18, we have to confirm to the tour leader where are these 2%, and noting accompanying baggage or luggage for each passenger where required. And then facilitate movement of baggage from terminal to meet passenger needs. When our passenger come, they will come not by themselves, but they will come also by their luggage. So we should important notice of their luggage. Yeah, use checking procedure to enter the correct baggage is transported for the appropriate passenger, including baggage tagging and recording. And as a tour guide, we have supervised the movement of baggage. We can ask the porter. Porter is employee in charge to move the passengers in the airport luggage to their transportation, their local transportation. And check luggage storage compartment, ensure that all visitors' luggage is being treated and handled correctly. Indemnity form can write in the form that all of the luggage is handled correctly. So what if some of our passenger luggage is lost? Can it be? Yes, it can be. Yeah. So as a tour guide, we should follow lost baggage procedures where required. It may include recording details and description of the baggage claimed to have been lost. You have to ask the passengers that lost their luggage about the detail and description of their luggage, and capturing details of the passengers. You have to know the detail of the passengers, what is his or her name, where they come from, others. And then conducting immediate search for the baggage. Immediately, as a tour guide, we should have our passengers to look for their luggage. Notifying other staff to inform them in the baggage search. In the terminal, there are lost and baggage department. So we can go to the staff in lost and baggage department to help our passengers to search their baggage. And after the baggage is or luggage is found, we apologize to the passenger. And then liaise with staff from other business to facilitate passenger arrival at and use of their product and services. Liaise with staff from other business, notifying other business that our passengers have arrived at the terminal. For example, after from airport, our passengers arrive in the airport, in the destination airport at 12 o'clock. It's lunch time. So when our passengers arrive in the airport, we as a guide immediately call the restaurant that we have booked before to prepare the lunch for our passengers, because our passengers have been arrived in the airport and it will be take just half hour, for example, from the airport to the restaurant. So we have to immediately call the restaurant so they can prepare the lunch. Providing group detail as appropriate. Inform to the other business, to restaurant, for example, how many person he exactly come. It's like what we say before, that if there are some no-show passengers, that they are not come, so we inform. In order for visitors' travel arrangements to run smoothly, it is vital clear communication be maintained between the parties. Yeah, that is some procedures that the students provide assistance for arrival passengers. So the summary is when, as a tour guide, we are asked or we are commanded from the tour operator to handle the arrival passengers from airport to the hotel. First, we will do is airport meeting service. We pick our passengers in the airport. What we're gonna do, rise up your paging board. This paging board, it is the sign board. We use it to identify our guests. And then when the guest is come closer us, we greet the passengers. Greet and welcome the passengers. And then group identification. Ask them, are that groups? For example, Oxford group from London, yeah? Oxford group. You can ask them, ladies and gentlemen, are you from Oxford group? So we have 2 times identification. The first, when you rise up your paging board and your passenger come closer to you, and the second one, you ask them, is your group to be handled or no? And then lead the group to the comfortable area. We know that the airport, the arrival gate is very crowded. So ask the passenger to move a bit to the comfortable area. And then introducing yourself, who you are, with smile, of course, yeah, student. Introducing yourself, you are a tour guide and you will be guide your tourists for 3 days, for example, and others. Meet and greet the tour leader. Yeah, meet the tour leader. We will have discuss about what is tour leader, and then ask hotel voucher from tour leader. So if they have booked the hotel, and then brief the guests where are they going to go. Just inform the short information where are they going.
Excuse me, Mr. Dading, before we
Yeah.
continue, we have passed the 45 minutes, so
Okay.
we have the time for discussion, 15 minutes for discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can I continue for a little? Yeah?
Yes, of course.
And then after we inform our guests where are they going to go. We handle their guest luggage and what I said before, that makes sure all of the guest luggage have been collected, and then explain the airport facilities such as restroom, or if our passengers all of them is Muslim and it is praying time, we can also inform the location of the prayer room. Then to that lead the guest to the transport or to the bus. Okay, finish at the airport and then we are going to the bus. So from the airport to the hotel, like I said, that we have to prepare some information. What information that we should give to our passengers, our guests? First, greet and welcome the guests. Even we have greet them in the airport, but we should also greet them in the bus. Why? Because in the airport, like I said, it's crowded area, and we are not using a microphone. So some of the passenger will not hear us correctly. And then crew introducing. We can introduce the driver, the co-driver if available, and of course we also can reintroducing ourselves as the tour guide. Then explain the detailed itinerary. If they will stay in our area in Lombok Island, for example, we can explain the detailed itinerary for the first day, second day, and the last day. And then explain about Indonesia. If our guests come from the foreign country, what we can explain: the name, location, borderline, the population. We can explain that Indonesia is the fourth biggest population in the world after China, America, and then the fourth one is Indonesia. Government, local currency and exchange rate, time diversification, the climate and season, number of island tribe, local language, Indonesian motto, 19 diversity. We can inform to our passengers that Indonesia consists of more than 17,000 islands with thousands of tribes, thousands of local language, but we have a great motto, 19 diversity. Even Indonesian people has different islands, has different language, local language, has different tribes, but they are one. We are. And then we also explain about the local area. For example, in Lombok, we explain about the Lombok Island, the name, location, large tribes, history, cultures, what polite and unpolite do. This is the important thing because our guests, our passengers, is come from foreign country, and this is very possible that they have a different culture with us. So it is important to us to inform what is polite and what is unpolite to do in here. And then passing some information when we are going from airport to the hotel, we will pass some very exotic places or exotic panorama, so we can explain it, like rice field, rice plant, flora and fauna, traditional market, and others. And then when we are near to the hotel, we inform to the guests that the hotel is already near. So we give the information, the hotel information to our guests, the name, location, classification, rooms for the guests, facilities, what are free and what are paid. Yeah, and remind the guests before they are get off from the bus what their valuable or the personal things, and then about their luggage will be handled by concierge, and ask them to get off from the bus and wait at the lobby hotel. And then check in hotel. After that, when we arrive at the hotel, we ask the concierge to bring our guest baggage to the lobby. And then after that, we welcome the guests and invite them to enjoy welcome drink while we are, as the guide, process they check in. Then after that, the tour guide and tour leader go to the receptionist to check in the guest room. After we have we hold our guest room key, we back to the guests and inform them about the next day program, including time of picking up and what equipment should bring. For example, when the next day we are going to the beach and they have much time there and they can snorkeling, so we explain them to bring the swimsuit and others. And then before leave them, saying, is there any question? And inform that if they need something, they can call receptionist or you as the tour guide and give your ID card to the tour leader. And the last, apologizing and thanking guests and share the room card according to the rooming list, greeting and say have nice rest. Yeah, this is all the procedures of the transfer in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Ellen.
You are welcome, Mr. Dadin. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for a discussion. You may leave your question in the chat box, or you can raise your hand in the Zoom in your screen.
Or we
Well,
can
Yeah,
or we can ask first to Mrs. Agustin
yeah,
to share us her
presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we continue to Mrs. Agustin, we have one question here. The question from the teacher from Vocational High School number 27. I don't know the name. The question is, if the situation is that you are you will pick up about more than maybe 7 passenger, 7 guests, but 2 or 3 of them have a different flight, so they are not coming together. They come with a different time of departure. So, what should you do when you assigned by yourself or something?
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Ellen. This question is actually Mrs. Agustin, the right person to answer it. Yes, she is a tour guide. She has a tour operator, but no problem. I will answer it first, and later Mrs. Agustin will add my answer. If we meet that case, we have 7 passengers, for example, and then some passengers come first and some come later with a different flight, for example. So at this moment, we are commanded by the tour operator because the decision maker is the tour operator if the case is like this. Should we wait for the late or for the next passengers, or should we leave it? If we leave it, is there any person that will come to pick our late passengers? That's the first point. The second point, if the time gap of the first and the second one is not too far, for example, just half hour, so we can ask to the passengers that come earlier to waiting for the other one. If the time gap is very long, for example, 3 hours, 4 hours, so there are 2 scenarios that we can use. The first one is we can guide our first passengers to their hotel first, and then we come back to the airport to picking up our second passengers if the time is available. But if no, we can go with the first passengers, and to the second one we can call our tour operator to ask the other guide our partners to take our passengers to the hotel. That is my answer, Mrs. Ellen.
Yeah, that was the answer from Mr. Dading. It was the question from Mr. Agus, SMKN 27.
Oh yeah, Mr. Agus. Actually, Mr. Agus has had the same name with our speaker, but he is in male version, Agus Sasongko.
Yeah, Bapak Agus Sasongko.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
You are
Mrs.
welcome, Pak Agus. Thank you for the question. From our students, is there any questions?
I think later, Mrs. Ellen.
Okay.
Maybe we can hear the experience of Mrs. Agustin.
Yeah. So, Mrs. Agustin, are you ready to deliver your material?
I am ready.
Okay, time is yours, Mrs. Agustin.
Yeah, thank you very much for the time given to me. Thank you for the Vocational High School to Mataram who invite me to be a guest speaker. And it is a very an honor for me to be here, sharing my experience, our experience during, I think, more than 25 years working at hospitality industry. So I spent, I think, 14 years in hotels and the rest in travel agency. Yes, it's more than your age, I think, Miss Ellen.
Actually, I am 27.
That's right. Okay. I think I've been introduced before by Mr. Dading, but again, my name is Agustin. Now I'm the owner of PT Lirik Lombok Tours, and I really enjoy working as a travel agent because in travel agent we working and also traveling. I will not repeat mention or present because it's already clear and complete. And I will only share my experience during manage a travel agent or working a travel agent and also working in the hotel related with transfer in. So based on the my like Miss Ellen and Mr. Dading explained that transfer ins mean trip from the arrival guests to hotels. This is the theory, but in real, transfer in for the guest tour is used for a tour. So as you know that there is a different handling for the tourists come. There are many type of guests. First, leisure guests, business guests. So we are handling of that. As you mentioned previously, there's an independent and escorted guests. So independent means free and
Have mute your. Hello, Miss Agustin. Can you please unmute your. Hello.
I think I have a problem with my equipment, but sometimes it's mute automatically. I repeat again. So based on my experience, if handling FIT guests, it's different. For FIT guests, they normally, if more than less than 5%, there's no guide. It's only driver. So means we call it driver guide. tour guide, because the driver sometimes cannot speak English or they cannot speak the original language of the guest. So I repeat once again, based on our experience handling a guest, there are many different handling for the guest arrival. Yeah, we divided into two, domestic and overseas guests, and FIT and group guests. I think, is it clear, students?
Students, is it clear?
Am I too fast? Am I too fast?
No, it's clear.
No.
Clear, yeah? So
Yeah.
based on my experience, if we handling arrival, a transfer, different handling, it depends on the guest. So it's domestic or overseas guest, or FIT or group guest. Student know what is FIT guest?
Hello, student.
Do you know about FIT guest? What is that?
Decide.
Okay, so FIT guest means individual
Correct.
guest, yeah? Because so individual, we can call it about 5, maximum 5%, but more than 5%, we can call it a small group. And then more than 10%, we can call it group. Okay, in the airport, Mr. Dading already mentioned that ideally a tour guide or driver will bring a paging or signboard. Yes, but sometimes it is not the case. Sometimes now the process is getting transmitted or getting different. Sometimes the guest only asks the number of the driver. Even though we already provide the signage, sometimes they only ask the number of the driver. So they can contact each other where the driver or the guest stand at the arrival, and the guest can contact the driver on that. But it has happened. Yeah. And secondly, if trip from the hotel, from the origin arrival to the hotel, but in implementation in the travel agency, this is not the case, because sometimes we have to save the time and the cost. So day one, normally we use it as a tour. So we will make an itinerary for the first day. Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Huh? Yeah,
For me,
because
it's clear.
transfers only, this is will more cost and more time for the guests, because they need more than 3 days, which is normally tour package, standard tour package, only 3 days, 2 nights. So the first day they will use for a tour also. It is also because of the location of the airport, the location of the harbor is not in the city. So normally the location is far and already in the location of the destination. So the travel agent normally arranges the first day for the tour, which is the destination close to the airport. So like in Lombok, because my office based in Lombok, so normally on the first day for the tour coming, for the guests coming to Lombok, they will be Sasak Mandalika tour, because the location of the destination is close to the airport. So you can imagine if the first day they only transfer only to the airport to hotel, will wasting cost for the transport, wasting time. But for international guests or overseas guests, because they already spend more hours in flight, they normally don't like this arrangement. They will go straight from the airport or the harbor to the hotel. because overseas guests like free and easy program. Free and easy programs means independent tour. So they will come to the hotel and tour optional activity. And this is on the tour guide is the what we call it, I mean, the smart, they can offer a tour. But if the tour guide is quiet, they don't sell, they don't upsell, so the guests will just come from the airport to the hotel and that's it. No tour because overseas guests sometimes enjoy the hotel. This is the first point. And the next, let me again, for the arrangement for the group. This is different, the arrangement for the FIT guests. For the group, like Mr. Dading mentioned, that always have a tour leader. They normally have a tour leader. A tour leader is a person who is responsible to bring the group to the destination. While tour guide is a person who in charge to lead the tour from the arrival place to have around to lead the tour. I think that's the difference between tour leader and tour guide. Am I too fast?
No.
No?
No.
I'm sorry, because I sometimes speak very fast.
No, it's clear.
Clear. So maybe
Yeah.
any question until
Yeah. Students,
And-
any question for Miss Agustin? Students? I think no.
no, okay. So now I will explain about how to handle a group and the arrival. We just mentioned airport, yeah. Example is airport. For the group, normally my travel agent offer vehicle for the guests and luggage. Why? Because if the guests have to bring the same vehicle with the luggage, it will take a long time. Can you imagine? For example, we handle 100 person and each person have to wait for the luggage. So it will take more than 1 hour to get the luggage, and then it will affect all the arrangement. So the lunch will be late, the check-in will be late, and the tour will be late also. Normally, travel agent will provide a different vehicle for the luggage and the passengers. So the luggage will be taken care of the staff expertly assigned to take care of the luggage, while the guests will be handled by a tour guide. So there is no delay of time. And the luggage will be sent directly to the hotel. No need to follow the guests, and the guests will go for a tour before check-in. As I mentioned before, that for tour packages normally transfers in is only happen for business meeting guests. They will have a transfer in only, and the next they will have meeting. But for the leisure guests, there's no transfer in. But normally they will combine for tour and transfer. So the first day they will have a tour and then ending with the transfer. So like Mr. Dading mentioned already, but a tour guide or a driver guide must bring a guest list, and then I already know, the guest link, paging or signboard, and then tour program, and then more important also, the tour guide or a driver guide must bring an expense. It's very important because there's arrangement that not paid by the hotel and not paid by the guest, but paid by the travel agent. This is depend on the arrangement of the tour before. For example, like a donation, like a parking, not the guests who pay normally, but it's only inclusive on the package. So the driver guide or the tour guide must bring an expense. Before they have to prepare how much cash the tour guide or the driver guide bring during the tour for the first day, second day, and the last day. This is very important. Okay. There's question so far? Very quiet.
Yeah,
There are-
we have silent student today, Mrs. Agustin.
Yes. Okay. Or maybe I'm talking too fast. Okay. Okay. Again, and then my experience also, there is a different type of guests. I already mentioned that a laser guest or FIT guest, group guest, or business guest. So there's a different arrangement of that. Now I will give an example for a business guest which has come from all over places in Indonesia. For example, there's a big company by event organizer in Jakarta, but the participants is coming from all over of Indonesia. Means the arrival will be in different times. From Pontianak, from Jakarta, from Surabaya. So how we handle this? This is different handling. So a travel agent will assign one person to be a coordinator standby in the airport. And they have to bring the arrival time. And we provide car standby. Better we find small car and medium car like a Hiace, but not the bus. Why? Because if we provide a bus and the different time is not the same, so it's very long time to gather all the guests in the same trip. So means if two arrival or 4-person arrival, the coordinator assign a car to go to the hotel. This kind of guest normally no tour. It's only transfer in, like Mr. Dading mentioned, that this is from the arrival to the hotel. For the business tour. But sometimes also it's happening that some guests asking for stop by to have lunch, stop by for shopping before going to the hotel. So what we can do, because this car actually already assigned to drop some of the guests to the hotel and then back again to the airport to bring another guest, another arrival. This is happening. I think this is too complicated for students, right? Any question for handling arrival for the group guests? I think the participant is very quiet.
I think they are too shy to ask the question.
Maybe because of the time, they just agile time for
Sleepy
sleeping.
time.
Okay. Okay, wake up, everyone.
Everyone.
Okay, so I will continue. So, handling guest arrival, transfer in is not the same between type of the tour and type of guest. Yeah, so we can again divide. It's FIT or group, domestic or overseas, yeah, and a leisure or business will be different arrangement, because it's happened that sometimes we as a travel agent, we don't know their arrival. We don't know, but we know they come from the origin places. So we know that they come from Bandung, for example, come from Jakarta, come from Pontianak, Banjarmasin, Surabaya. So as a travel agent, we have to be smart. We have to know how many flights arrive to Lombok. So we just write down all the flight and we just bring the signboard for every flight arrival. This is very complicated arrangement, but we have to do it. Okay. Let me continue. So during the trip from the hotel, the airport to the hotel, like Mr. Dadin already explained completely clearly that what they should know. So the driver or tour guide should know the places like ATM, and what should know what happening in the city, like the uniform, like to have, what I mean, everything on the road. The tour guide and driver guide have to know, then have to explain. But there is some point that tour guide or driver cannot talk. It's about political issues and also it's about religion. So, because this is very sensitive, so don't mention, especially to the guests that just know for the first time, because this is very dangerous, because we don't know and what size are the guests and what side of the guests and what they principle, what they expert, what they, I mean, we don't know what kind of guests we have. So as a tour guide and a driver guide, please don't mention about religion.
Yeah.
And then when the trip from the, also that driver guide or tour guide have to bring the information completely about the room number. This will be a good service. But some hotel, they will not give a room number until the guest arrive. So this will be an additional or bonus service from travel agent if we have already known the room number of the guest. But if the hotel will not provide, there will be, because some hotel have their own regulation. But there will be a bonus if we know the number of room, the room number of the guest. Okay. And then how long I will have time?
More 10 minutes here.
Okay. And then arriving in the hotel, please make sure, oh, I missed something. I missed about the luggage, yeah?
Yeah.
The handling luggage, our travel agent normally provide different vehicle for the luggage and the passengers, before leaving to the tour guide, please make sure the number of the luggage. So must be complete. And then also when at the hotel, you calculate again the number of the luggage. And for the arrangement of the luggage, some arrangement, before guest arrival, all the luggage in the room of guests. But this is again depend on the hotel, because some hotel doesn't want to bring luggage in the room before the guest arrival. So this is again a bonus service, because some of the arrangement asks before guests arrive to the hotel, so their luggage must be in on each room. But this is very dangerous also sometimes if the guests like to move or change room. So it's depend on arrangement. We have to explain clearly to the guests, if this kind of arrangement request, please don't change room because all the luggage will be on your room. Okay. And then next, I will explain also about, like Mr. Daddy explained, that before arriving to the hotel, the tour leader the tour guide or the driver guide must mention to guests for the arrangement of the next day. For example, if the next day the program is to the island, what to bring, what not to do should inform to the guests clearly, and the time of the appointment, etc. So the guests will know, because some of them is the first time come to the destination, so they know what arrangement, and remind again to the guests what is to be bring for the next tour. I think this is from me. I mean, because everything is already explained by Mr. Dadin, I better give time for students and also for the teacher if they have question, because sometimes I miss, if they have a question, I will answer.
Okay. There's one question here from Ibu Emi Dwi Widyarti. Could you share an unpleasant experience in handling guests during this pandemic? So, do you have any experience? Unpleasant experience.
Ms. Emila, thank you for the question. Actually, during the pandemic, most of the travel agents are closed, including my office. But my office open this, and thanks God that I have already guests. But this is not laser guest. This is a guest from the government, precisely from Kominfo, who have a program for UMKM. It's happened last week. My problem at the time is because it's the first time handling guests during the pandemic, is when I provide medical assistance for the rapid antigen. My problem, or maybe because of lack of experience of this, there's a misinformation about the rapid gen, because I just find out that not all the clinic issue the voucher of rapid gen able to fly. So what I get is from Rumah Sakit Tanjung, from the hospital at north of Lombok. When the, what do you call it, the receipt, or what do you call it, when we take, we get the, what do you call it, Miss Elon? I mean the negative and positive, what do you call it? The
Result.
The printout.
The result?
The result, yes. Because the result, the printout given by the hospital is not valid for fly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awkward.
And this is just, I just find out. I think if the hospital who issue the result is able to fly, but cannot, not all. So only a certain clinic and a certain hospital. I will be more careful. I have to check, make sure to the hospital and to the clinic, is it the result can be brought for the flight or not. Because last time, I have to repeat again the 7-person, the committee for rapid antigen. And this is really not comfortable for me as a travel agent. Because why? They already pay to me a certain much number. 200,000 already paid, and I already paid to the hospital. But the result cannot be brought for a flight. I think it's really a shame for me. As a travel agent organized, and but thanks God that I found out, and then the next will not happen again. So I will be more careful to choose the clinic for this kind of event.
Yeah, I just know this. I think all hospital or the clinic can be received by the airlines to fly.
Is it not the case? So this is also a knowledge for us also,
Yeah,
for
correct.
students, also for the teacher. Please, if you do a rapid antigen, ask them this or not. Some is only for internal use, like a seminar, attending a meeting. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
questions?
Students, any other questions, or maybe the other participants, if you want to ask something, you can put your question in the chat box, or maybe you can unmute and then talk with us. Question?
Any
Maybe.
question? It's very shy participants.
Maybe our students from Vocational High School to Mataram want to say something? Want to explain us about their region, maybe? Students. Eddie? Eddie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Eddie. How are you?
I'm good.
How about your intern program? Is it doing well?
Yeah, everything's doing good.
Okay. Eddie, would you like to share or tell us about your region maybe? Because this material is about transfer in. And would you like to share something with us here?
Uh, Nothing, I guess. Because I don't know.
No?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, thank you, Eddie.
Welcome.
So I would like to remind you all, for the teacher, student, and from industry partner, please fill the Google document in the chat box. You can click it and then please fill it. Submit your answer in the following links. Well, okay, I would like to thanks to both participant for the for the both our first Mr. Dading Qalbuadi have delivered his material about the delivering about the helping the arrival assistance, and it's the really clear theory about it. And then for Miss Agustin Sasongkowati, for the really great experience. It's really long experience, 25 years in tourism industry, especially in Lombok. Thank you very much for your sharing. And then if you have no question, we are going to end this webinar. So don't forget to again join our webinar in the next Thursday. It's the material will be about the provide the departure assistance. So thank you very much for all participants. I hope you have a good day. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Elon. Thank you, Mrs. Agustin. Thank you to Simolek. Thank you to all of the students and teachers that joined this webinar.
Thank you for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.